What?
Oh, Snissy, Snazzy, Busy, Bazzy. That was an embarrassing one. Let's start the whole show.
Yeah.
No,
That was weak.
I probably should have, but it is what it is, folks.
Yep.
Let's add some color to the background this week. Bong. Let's hit you crazy kids with that MF Dizzle. I was looking up. I was working on something, and I was listening to Rap Snitches, which is the one that uses the Coffin Nails instrumental.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn, I love this instrumental. I love that shit. It is easily one of my favorite instrumentals. Just so fucking good. Oh, is that on my end? We're getting a little busy.
Yeah, I got a buzz in my ear. I don't know if that's me or you or.
I hope that's not me.
It stopped. I don't hear it. Right. No, it's back.
No, it's back.
Oh boy, we're gonna have to troubleshoot everybody. This is why you guys got to show up 10 minutes before, you crazy kids.
I feel you up here.
Same thing with Dave over here and his lazy ass. I'm taking care of my life. I'm an adult. Get the out of here. First things first. Welcome to the show, Geektastic Cypher here on Free X Agents Media. And if you guys are watching us over on Twitch, shout out to the Twitch fam, twitch.tv/Geektastic Cypher. And a big thank you for tuning into yet another wild edition of the show. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. But first off, we should start with the usual wonderful information that we all need and we all know. May the force be with you, ladies and gentlemen. May the 4th.
Yes.
That's when we're recording.
Happy May the 4th.
Happy May the 4th. Happy May the 4th.
Should all acquaint. I don't know.
That'd
We
imagine
need a May 4th anthem.
that'd be amazing. Well, I mean, I guess it's the Star Wars like orchestra thing, but you can't sing it. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
you can have a bunch of people humming it.
I want one that I can sing, like Star Wars is the best and I love it.
Oh no! Why don't you do the
go.
Bill Murray one? The Bill Murray one. Star Wars.
Talking about Star Wars. Yeah, that's one.
Don't let him
That's
go
the one.
away.
I can't believe we are doing that song. But all that to say, you guys know the deal. And of course,
Oh wait, hold on. One more. Happy
What?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I was just
trailer
going to
day.
say, that's what I was about to announce. Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer dropped, folks. The Obi-Wan Kenobi logo, for some reason, has this lightsaber at the end for the Kenobi and not in the Obi, which I thought would make more sense.
Because it's an eye
less
in there.
noticeable at the end. That's my take on it.
Oh, I haven't seen the trailer yet. I didn't get a chance.
What?
Neither of
I
us.
didn't.
Oh,
Guys,
pretty
it's
cool.
a minute 38 seconds.
I watched it right before we came.
Let me see this.
You know, May 4th a busy reason for multiple things. Star Wars and by chance. And I'm going to do the shout out now. Happy 2-year anniversary, baby, where you're out there right now. She's let me do this show. And we so happen to do that. And I promised myself I'd do that shout out. So you guys go back to Star Wars now.
I think my favorite thing is when nerds put their anniversary on nerd dates, knowing they will never forget. Let's not pretend, Dave, like that it was not intentional.
Straight up, she told me either May 4th or 6th. I'm like, so like
Revenge.
May the Sith be with you. And you know what I mean? I was already there. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna forget this if this succeeds.
Wonderful.
And it succeeded for 2 glorious years. So love you, baby.
Are we going to be going to a Star Wars themed wedding then?
No. She would kill that. She would
kill you. Okay.
She likes Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
And she's only really seen the original trilogy and Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
Yeah.
She's like, the TV shows I fucks with, and she's like, that first one's really boring. I don't care what you say. I'm like,
the original,
like,
A New Hope?
like A New Hope. I'm like, that's fair considering the first hour and like 10 minutes is just about the robots. Like, I'll give you that.
It's literally about Gildenkrantz and Guildenstern walking around.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I'll give you that.
I've had that conversation with a few people where I was just like, if we're being fair, A New
Empire's
Hope,
the best one.
Yeah, A New Hope is not a good movie, and I know people get mad at me. I know people get mad, but
I'm not against it.
When you watch that movie, it's one of the films that did not age as well. That's all I'm saying.
But it's also one of those films where it's like it has the biggest payoff, though, technically, because after that hour of being in the sand and following robots that you have no idea why you're following robots for.
Yeah. Okay.
Like once it starts getting to like, what's a Jedi? You're like, that's cool. And then it's like Jedi fight. You're like, okay. It has like a distinct increase of entertainment, you know, like on a chart, like on a flow chart, you'd have it like, it's like, whoop, right on the top.
I think it does the hero's journey extremely well.
Yes.
In the aspect of that, you really know that like, oh, Luke is really bored here. Hey, can I go and join them? No. Yeah. Can I go? No, you stay here.
And
you
then Leia gives him the call
here. You don't know nothing, boy.
Yeah. I'll give props to that build up, because the call to action is like one of the most famous, like that projection of Leia is one of the most famous call to actions we've ever seen in a hero's journey. So
and maybe in the last 5 years we've finally been able to replicate that in real life.
Yeah, which is crazy.
With the projection, like I guess you get like a specifically cut like plastic glass or something, and then you shine the thing and you get the projection happening.
My friend had one that you could watch. They had 3D videos on YouTube that you could get a specifically cut piece of glass and put it on your phone, and it would create a hologram over your phone.
Damn.
And I remember when she showed it to me the first time, I almost smacked the phone out of her hand, like,
too soon.
Bitch, sci-fi dreams aren't supposed to be shown to me like this. I need a build-up. You can't show me something I have been dreaming of since I was a child, casually being like, hey, Brian, I think you'd appreciate this. Oh, what is it? Check this out. And just show me a 3D fish. Like it's nothing, and I'm supposed to just go. I went like, what? Like I freaked out. I was so like excited about it.
Doc, that's the most blackest thing I've ever heard. Witchcraft! No.
What is this voodoo?
that is like black people reaction to David Blaine shit.
Yeah,
like,
dude, hold on. You fucking showed me a 3D fish. I was like, what the hell's happening right now?
You hit it. You hit it. I love that. I love that.
I did.
That's okay.
I did.
That's usually our reaction to those kind of things.
Yeah, and I'm not even ashamed. I
never told y'all guys actually no that story. I've definitely told you, but yeah, it's similar to the rat story. You know, I was introduced to a rat by someone putting it on my shoulder and/or
yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. You don't do that to people.
Well, then I also reacted like as Brian did. I hit it, but instead of hitting it, I took it and threw it against a wall.
Oh no!
Like reflex, just back. So yes, as black people, kill it with fire.
Cool. I feel like that reaction has more to do with just anyone's reaction. Like, there's a rat on my shoulder, I'm gonna freak the fuck out and
not like freak and like scurry and rat, but like to literally be like
yeah.
Splinter's on my shoulder. No.
Yeah, that's wild.
I deny this.
No animals were hurt in the making of that story.
No.
No.
Did it walk away, Skinny? Like, did it slight you, Skinny?
Did it die a couple weeks later? I don't know.
Turns out Skinny's the actual shredder. Jumped at him. Really happy. You killed my master.
Skinny looks over to the side. There's just 4 little turtles walking away.
Slowly.
Speaking of very black things, Chappelle got jumped at his own show. Netflix.
No, that looked like a spear.
Yo, yeah, that was like gold.
That was like
yeah. So Homeboy was paid for front row seats to see Dave Chappelle, and then Goldberg speared Chappelle on stage at his own show.
Goldberg speared.
Netflix is a joke festival in LA, 11 days of some, comedians all over. You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to do Just for Laughs in LA.
Yeah.
Netflix is on some shit. Everything's tanking, so they're trying to be even bigger. All to say, it was a wild night. And then I don't have the video of the spear, and I don't have the video of that someone took where all you see is a huge wall of men surrounding the guy in the corner, jumping him.
Oh no, yeah, they beat his ass.
They beat his ass. I don't know if you guys saw the picture. I don't want to share the picture.
Oh, that's the picture that I'm seeing on. Oh man, okay, I just realized what people are sharing.
of dude with his arm dislocated popped out for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And his arm bent backwards.
There's a video. There's a
intense.
video of him actually in the. He tries to move, and you could see it's not good.
Yeah.
Because he's also handcuffed. Because
yes, there.
But he did try and assault someone.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
One of the things I was saying to a buddy of mine was, anytime you decide to inflict physical harm on someone, you have to understand that in that moment, there's a 50-50 that you live. And I know that sounds really messed up, and I know some people don't like to think that way, but if you decide yourself, it's one thing if someone attacks you. It's another thing if you yourself attack somebody, because in attacking that person, you don't know what their recourse or the reaction is going to be. You don't know what they're going to do. And you have to understand that by making the decision to attack someone, you are putting yourself in a position where you might not walk away. Understand that.
But the other thing, though, is that in doing so, you also, I don't want to say you give up rights or anything like that, but like, let's say there's friends around that person, like,
you do give up rights.
Like
if you lay hands on someone,
you're putting up all your shit.
If you put hands on somebody, the second you touch that person, you're giving up the right to say they attacked first. You are attacking them.
Yeah.
So
and
he
anyone
chose
who
violence.
comes to your defense, it's like we don't
Josh
know this
said.
person, so we don't know what this person's capable of.
Exactly. And on top of that, homeboy had a gun, a fake. Sorry. He had allegedly. Wait, let me rewind. Okay. This is allegedly because we don't know all the details. Allegedly, he had a gun type weapon that was actually a switchblade on his person.
Okay,
so still a weapon though.
Yeah, it was a weapon. This is allegedly. Again,
he's a shredder now.
Reports, but he allegedly had a weapon. Wait, what?
Who's a shredder now?
That might have.
At least he doesn't have to look for a can opener.
Oh God.
Anyway,
so this dude had this weapon, spears Dave Chappelle in front of a sold out crowd,
and then gets his ass
and then
beat.
Again, allegedly, Chappelle's security team, Busta's crew, because Busta Rhymes' crew.
Oh no, Busta Rhymes!
So
Jamie
it's
Foxx's
a
crew were all there, and supposedly they all took care of business backstage.
Like,
imagine by the flip mode
bodyguards.
So my understanding that this is, I think, because I remember I read an article before all this, so maybe a day or two ago, that said that Chappelle and Busta Rhymes are supposed to be going on tour together.
Oh, interesting. That's a
so
wild story.
probably that's why Busta Rhymes was there. Jamie Foxx, I'm not sure, but you know what I want to say? I want to say it's pretty cool that I guess Chappelle and Jamie Foxx buried the hatchet, because I don't know if you remember Dave Chappelle's block party, and he's like, it's some people feel that they could tell jokes and play the piano. And then Chappelle gets in front of the piano and starts playing Thelonious Monk.
Oh,
kind of like taking shots at Jamie Foxx, saying like, "You ain't really funny. You're not really a comedian."
Oh shit!
You just play piano. Oh, you don't remember that?
Officially at Jamie Foxx? Because I have the block party. I didn't know it was aimed at Jamie Foxx.
I think it was pretty much aimed at Jamie Foxx.
Oh shit!
That's what it seemed like at the time.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I have the clip where Jamie Foxx and Chappelle are talking and burying the hatchet, or just interacting. Here's the clip right now. This clip comes courtesy of Twitter user E5Squire. So E5QUIRE. If you guys want to follow that person on social media, go check them out. But they're the one that posted the original video, giving credit where credit is due. Here you go.
Everybody comes out for the curtain call. Shout out to Jamie Foxx, by the way. Jamie, where you at? Jamie, hold up. Make some noise for Fox. Whenever you're in trouble, Jamie Foxx will show up in the sheriff's hat. Turn the mic up. Nigga, I thought that was part of the show. I don't know what the fuck is... I grabbed the back of that nigga's head. His hair was spongy. Absorbent. Listen, I just want to say, man, I've had an incredible time. This man is an absolute genius. We got to make sure we protect him at all times, man. This is what it's about. For every comedian that comes out here, man, this means everything, man. You're a genius, you're a legend. I enjoyed myself thoroughly, and we're not gonna let nothing happen to you, niggas. That's right. Give it up. This is the show. Wait.
Damn.
Wild.
Wow.
I can't believe that someone attacked Dave Chappelle on stage. Can you imagine how expensive it is to get a front row ticket to a show, and then you essentially pay to get your ass beat?
That's an expensive ass whooping, man.
Think a preemptive thing, or do you think Dave Chappelle somehow made a comment during a show that pissed this person off, and then he's like, "I'm gonna go and do something about it."
He woke up and chose violence. That
Yeah.
day. He preemptively did that.
So does anyone want to know what Chris Rock said?
Oh,
yes, I heard what Chris
I
Rock
could
said.
guess.
And it was doo-doo.
He was like, "Was that Will?"
No, he was like, "Who's that? Will Smith?" But his delivery was okay. The idea was good. The delivery was like,
oh, you didn't like the delivery?
his head. I think that the way he said, I don't know, the hesitated. Like I don't know.
I'm sure he did. I'm
It
sure
was
It was a
Fozzie
He's
Bear.
in India now. He's
It was
fine.
a Waka Waka joke, if you know what I'm saying.
yes.
I mean, that's
so-
probably
so
probably on
was the-
purpose. You know, it's
so
like,
was
Of course.
Yeah,
So
no,
was
it's
the
the
Academy
same joke.
Award.
Yeah, it's the same level of joke.
Yeah,
so,
the Oscar
I mean,
joke
like
was
that,
a waka joke.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Maybe I'm just not feeling Chris lately, man.
Everybody hates Chris. That's the whole joke.
Oh, but I just wonder what this guy thought. Like, did he think he's like, I'm gonna take him down and people are gonna cheer me? Like, you know what I
Definitely
mean?
didn't think that they were going to handcuff him and kick him till his arm twisted this way Sunday.
I'm-
That's for sure. Oh, man.
I'm gonna say
What a moron.
throwing this out there. This is 100% a guess. He might not be all mentally there,
Oh, for sure.
and something triggered him. Either, like you said, Dave, maybe at the show, or like you were saying, Skinny and Jaws, maybe before the show, he had a thought of like, I'm choosing violence today. I really don't know.
that's a lot. That's an expensive amount of violence.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the thing, because crimes of passion kind of just happened, but he also had a switchblade on him. Does he just carry the switchblade around because he lives in a dangerous neighborhood? Did he bring it specifically to hurt Dave? I have no clue. I really don't. And quote unquote, this man is innocent until proven guilty, even though there were thousands of witnesses, because that's their legal system. And I mean, it's fair to be innocent until proven guilty.
But
so
I
we
mean-
will have to wait to find out the details of what happened. He is guilty of attacking Dave.
Yeah.
But I'm saying their legal system is framed that you are innocent until proven guilty. Whether or not everyone sees you until you get arrested, charged, and convicted, it is understood that you are still innocent, even if everyone saw you do it. And
Yeah.
because 100,000 people might like Dave Chappelle enough to lie, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I mean,
that's
yeah,
crazy,
but like
right?
that's why there's video of it.
I mean,
Like,
I
just
know.
want to say I don't want to be. Hey, yeah, I guess.
I'm just saying it's going to be an interesting one
I-
when this potentially, because I don't see how, like, it's, I was telling my buddy earlier, I get that Dave and his boys were just like, swift street justice coming your way, homie, because you
Right.
attacked him. But at the same time, when I saw the pictures and his face was all bust up and his arm is bent backwards till Sunday, like he said, I was like, I mean, there's street justice, and then there's just y'all beat this man like he was a Raggedy
Oh.
Ann doll. Like,
Oh,
They beat
That-
that
that
ass.
reminds me of that. There was a bit that Eddie Murphy had on one of his CDs, on one of his comedy CDs, comedy albums, and he was like, "Oh man, don't get hit by a car in Brooklyn. It's showtime for the Brooklynites." They come up, "Oh man, you see the guy get hit? Oh man!" And they'll go up to the guy that got hit, like, "Oh man, your leg's messed up. It looks like look at me, man. Look at me. Your leg looks messed up like this, man. Look like this. Oh man."
God damn. That's so dark and unfortunate, but also quite funny. I feel
Imagine
bad
the
for laughing,
stomping
but
this guy got. Oh
it
man,
is what
Dave's
it is.
peripherals. What's going on with Dave's peripherals? His peripheral vision. You're doing
Oh.
stand up, and he was that into it to not see like.
But
well, he moves a lot though.
he still moves. Like in the video,
Yeah.
he doesn't absorb the full impact because he shifts at the last second.
All right,
So he
just wanted
noticed
to-
enough to not get the full force. Like the
Right.
guy
He did some
fears
Aikido
him,
shit.
but yeah, Matrix
down
style,
here.
baby.
Yeah. Nice.
Man, I can't like it's
No.
good stuff to say, but can you imagine the cathartic feeling of knowing like yo, this nigga attacked our friend. We are kicking your ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong.
WKYA. We be kicking your ass.
Like,
Actually, I would be kind of celebrating. I'd be like, "Oh, we gonna kick his ass!"
Yeah, like, you know,
oh
like,
boy,
it's
good thing I
wrong.
put on my stomping boots today. Here we go.
Oh man, these gotta be the fresh Tims.
Yeah. Like, don't get us wrong. If you're watching this and you're just like, y'all are nasty, listen, it's not about being nasty. When you grew up in some weird situations, and I think all of us have seen some weird situations growing up, there's just that feeling where someone strikes first, and you're just like, oh, I get to wild out now.
yeah, exactly.
Yo, it's legit like, oh, I'm about to get me some stress out.
Yeah. Everyone's telling you buy a stress ball. No, let someone slap you first and enjoy the ride, because that's what these men did. These men saw the opportunity to be like, we've been standing security for Dave for 20 years. We never got to punch nobody. We getting it all out tonight.
Don't worry, Kwame. One day it's coming. And then, yo, legit, when it happens, they saw the spear. One dude looked at the other and he just did this.
Yeah.
Lifted his finger up.
And he up. Gun butt tattoo. And he up.
Oh man.
And
Yo,
he up.
if we just put that on my phone, we'd all
I
run out
want
and
to
have
play
it
it
on.
so bad.
And hey, Busta Rhymes is part of the remix.
Yeah.
Now, bump what you want. Now, bump what you want. Now.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you are having second thoughts about listening to us talk about how bad we would beat somebody who attacked our friend, listen, if you're one of our friends and you're listening to this right now, we would do the same for you.
Hey,
no,
I'm just saying, I'm the DJ and I got the playlist. That's all I'm saying.
I'm running in there saying, "You want to act stupid gun butt that fool? Want to cop that too?" Like stomping them with the riots.
That's the type of
beat. Everyone was jumping. Like, dude, why did you attack Dave? You so dumb. Like, I don't even know what to say. Nigga, you crazy. You crazy.
Start spinning them up for wrestling moves.
Yo,
and shit.
well, dude, but this is like the only thing stupider is when Bret Hart got attacked at the Hall of Fame like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, and it's only stupider because like first of all, you're attacking a wrestler. Second of all, there's like 100 wrestlers around you that really respect this person. They're gonna all kick this shit out. That's the only
And take pride.
worse
Mhm.
case scenario in comparison to what he had coming to him in that moment. Because that's the type of fight that even if a guy was holding a baby, he'd come up and be like kicking, like, you know, with the baby in hand. Like,
real quick, Mike K. wrote, do you think on a certain level they got to set an example like Oscar slap is one thing, but we're not tolerating any Joe Blow attacking our performers? I think it's, Mike, 100% a combination of that and also these niggas wild out. I think it's a combination of
Ray from the hood when you're true. It's wilding out with purpose. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
you get the hood niggas to be your security.
Guys,
Man, that might have to be
can we
kind
go
of
now?
wilding
Can
out
we
with
go now?
purpose.
Yes.
Wilding out
Okay,
with
go.
purpose.
Exactly.
Like, I agree with you. The idea that someone in the front row thought they could just run up on stage and try and knock down Dave Chappelle is insane to me. And I do believe that these people, these security people, saw it as an opportunity to be like, we are about to set a precedence that y'all need to understand. If you ever do this shit again and these people are in the room, this is what happens to you. But at the same time, I think it's also just, it's security. And if you attack someone on stage, security will jump you. And again, the fact that this dude had a weapon on him, allegedly, but the fact that I shouldn't say fact and allegedly this dude had a weapon on him goes a long way in their favor for saying like, this dude had a weapon and we had to stop him to make sure he was incapacitated.
Yeah.
Because they're all just going to support each other's story, too. That's the other thing. Like, it's not like the cops were there. It's like, and what version of the story is the man who's half unconscious going to tell? He's going to be like, I don't know what happened.
Sir, what happened? He can't talk right now.
Yeah, I jumped out of my seat. I saw Dave. And next thing I knew, I woke up in this ambulance. Like, that's the whole story.
I don't know, officer. I just ran over to help Dave, and then my foot just connected with his face about 18 times. I don't know what happened.
But see, that's another thing, though. So you go and attack Dave Chappelle on stage. How you think you're going to survive this moment in regards to like what happened to him? One thing, but like it's not just like a public place that you attack them. Everyone's staring at the person you're about to attack.
Yeah. You know what? I get what Dave's saying. You're not attacking someone in the audience next to you that no one notices because they're all looking at the stage. You attack the entire focal point of this entire thousands of
kind of stuff.
Where were you getting out? Like, where was he getting out? Like, legally, physically, I guess to a certain degree, financially. How do you get out of this?
That's what I'm
sorry.
saying.
If imagine going to work
sick,
though.
Dave. I think the dude might have been sick though.
Maybe so, but imagine you go to work Monday and they're like, "Yeah, we fire you because you attacked Dave Chappelle."
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? It would be so like,
no, I 100% agree with you. I'm on the same page, but I really like, the more we talk about it, the more I'm just like, this guy has to be sick, because much like you're saying, it just does not make sense for him to have gone this while. And yeah,
no sense, 0 cents on that, 0 cents.
Anyways, on that note, I feel like the last thing we have on this list, Dave, I know you added it. Let's add it at the end of the show. Cool. So we'll do that later on. So for all you guys tuning in, we're gonna jump into our View the Right Thing. And at the top of the show this week, Dave and I have a show that, let's just say, has some questionable decisions that were made with regards to how they decided to finalize the story of Moon Knight.
Did they though? That's my did they though? Like, as whether or not you were going into this with a definitive end or a potential continuation. Did they though? Like,
I knew, like, we had to know as people watching the series that they were holding back a lot. And you could tell they're holding back a lot. And I got that. Because you could tell they were very specifically focused on 2 characters out of the 3 personas. And for anyone who's never watched or read Moon Knight, the comic, there are 3 personas. We've talked about them quite a few times on the podcast. And once again, if you guys are tuning into this, we are going to be doing slight spoilers for Moon Knight. So hopefully you bear with us and stick and continue watching us. Maybe mute if you don't want to hear. We will take the spoiler announcement off at the bottom once we're done. But we're going to put that there now, and we're reminding you guys, if you're tuning in right now, and if you're listening, we're telling you right now, this is the beginning of the spoilers. We're going to be talking about it for a bit, and then we're going to tell you at the end that we've come to the end. I think that they knew they wanted to save Jake Lockley for another season. And this feels like one of the first times, or at least not one of the first times, but one of the most explicitly focused shows to show us we are going for a second season.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda felt very much like a show that was going to give us a limited series. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was building up to a movie. Loki was building up to a second season, but the specific ending of that season leads into the universe and the movies, and then whatever on the back end picks up will come back to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like he's kind of handing the baton off to a bunch of films, and then at some point someone's going to hand him back the baton to carry on his story from the events that happen. And you will probably need to watch the movies to understand where he is going. Moon Knight felt like the first time that it was just like, this is our universe in this show. We are in the MCU, but we don't necessarily need the MCU. Oh, and Hawkeye is obviously one that felt like limited series. Apologies.
Yeah.
But Moon Knight felt like it's like, we are telling a story specifically in this universe, in this moment here, and this is the story we're focused on. And I don't know that they want to. It almost felt like they didn't even want to connect to the rest of the universe.
The thing is, for this one, I find that for this one, it was like, if you even think about it, do we need any of the Marvel U in this? Even as like a name drop of even like a news article or a name of a building or anything. Do we need that for this the show?
I'll admit, I do not believe so. No,
for the show, for this character, and so it's one of those things where maybe this is an easy way to keep him more of a mystery, because in other shows you're like, we know this will do this. Like you saw Kang, well, a version of Kang at the end of Loki, right?
Yeah.
Like you saw, okay, well, Hawkeye, it's obviously the results of this movie. You can't not say that it's related to the movies because he's jaded because of everything that's happened in the movies and stuff. Whereas this one, it's like, this is in fact, correct me if I'm wrong, this is actually the first person who is actually pure TV, because you can't like WandaVision,
Yeah.
Falcon,
Yeah.
Loki,
Yeah.
Hawkeye, all derived by this is the first, and like pure unless you want to count the
those are all the shows, right?
Those are all the shows, unless you want to count the Netflix, and even at that,
No,
like,
no.
one Netflix would be connected, right? Like,
No.
even at that,
I'm sticking like you're saying. If we're talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe television shows
Yeah.
that are on Disney Plus,
Mhm.
those are all the shows we just named. And you're right, Moon Knight is the first one that has had no prior cinematic introduction.
Even if you think about What If is based off of the movies. It's not based off the comic books, right?
Yeah,
So it's not.
No, you're
it's
right.
not like it was like
You're
an
right.
independent. So
yeah, you're right. You're right.
For this one, because I think this makes it even more. It will make it more interesting when and if, because I think it's more of an if and a when. You know,
Okay.
He will show up in the movies. Like example, one thing that I was wondering, I really want to watch because I know I'm going to see Doctor Strange on the weekend. I was like, is there going to be a hint of being there? Now, the only madness that could happen is if you see alternate realities and he pops into one of those images at this point. There's no
I think we're gonna
way.
get some of the like ethereal plane, astral plane, the Duats afterlife plane. I think we will see those referenced because they were spoken about in the show, and I'm hoping we get to see them. But again, as you said, none of those characters need be connected. I think those spaces should still be connected. If you're going to talk about the multiverse, talk about the multiverse and the different layers that connect. Because that's one of the things I would imagine, right? Like you have the multiverse, but within the multiverse, the ancestral plane, for example, connects across all the multiverses. Like something like that would be interesting to me. And I'm hoping that that's what they do maybe in Multiverse of Madness, that some of these other planes that they reference in Moon Knight show up as, and subtle references, but they're all connected in some way.
Yeah. One thing though, like one or two things that did bug me about the episode. One moment in the episode, I'm like, okay, for me it was more like, okay, Disney, you're really driving it home, or Marvel, you're really driving it home. I think people could understand this without you having to say it. When the girl was like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero or whatever?" and she's like, "Yes." I was there. I'm like,
yeah. I mean,
that's a far shoving it down the throat a bit. I thought that was. I thought it was an extra step for no reason. That's what I'll say. An extra step for no reason.
I mean, if I'm an Egyptian kid living in the MCU and there've been no Egyptian superheroes and a girl with wings protects me from a car that's about to kill me, I probably will say, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" I would say it. It made sense in the moment.
But isn't it like similar to how like you guys have often said like this is Black Lightning and so on and so forth and stuff? Like, wouldn't you find that?
But
or is it because it's the first time?
But Layla's character is not named Egyptian god something. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
The difference with us is like with our black heroes is they're literally called Black Goliath, Black Lightning, Black Panther. It's just like, do you think we don't know they're black?
No, that's what I thought about that moment. That's what I thought. That's exactly the mentality I thought when they made that. I'm like, okay, cool, but like, whatever.
Well, what?
I thought it was a bit campy.
He was just saying that the moment where Layla gets tapped and shows her, you saw Moon Knight, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The moment where Layla gets tapped and shows her powers, and the little girl says, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" He felt that was a little shoehorned in the way that they kind of do the whole Black Lightning, Black hero, Egyptian hero. Like they made a heavy reference to it. And I was saying, I understand in that moment that if I was in that moment in an organic way, if I'm a little girl in Egypt in the MCU and I've never seen an Egyptian superhero before, and a girl with wings saves me from a crashing van, I'm gonna say, "Oh shit, are you an Egyptian hero?" Like it would be cool to me. Like if I grew up in a world where there was never a black hero and then a black superhero saves me, I'd be like, "Motherfucker, are you a black?" Like I might not say, "Are you a black hero?" But I'd be like,
"Would you say last night I saw a superhero and he was black?"
Black Lightning will never get your respect. Never get your respect.
No, I thought that shit was dope, and definitely I was just like, "Hell yeah, Marvel, play it up, do it."
Yeah.
So they cover your goddamn bases, do it.
Yeah. I was just curious.
Cover your bases.
Because we're gonna get Miss Marvel soon too, and that's gonna be similarly another one where at some point someone's probably going to say, "Oh, like a Muslim superhero." I imagine that line will potentially be said in the 6 episodes or 8 episodes. I'm not sure exactly how
I
many.
feel they'll do that more through imagery or like a specific interaction as opposed to it being,
okay.
like instead of it being like said, because that's the thing that would throw me off. It was more like you said it, like it's a little.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, okay, in the sense that she was definitely dressed in an Egyptian hero outfit.
Right.
Did she need to say it? I'll give you maybe not. But I'll also say I understand why a kid would be super excited to see an Egyptian hero and be like, "Oh my god, are you an Egyptian hero?" So I'll give you the like half a point on that. I'll agree.
Fair. That's fair. I'll take. I'll take a half.
I kind of see what you're saying. But okay, did you guys like, now that we've seen all the episodes? Skinny, you and I had already said that this wasn't the strongest of step forwards for Moon Knight in the second episode.
Yeah.
And a lot of, and you know, some of the fights, you know, you made references to the idea that you guys are trying to save money with these CG because you have this man out here fighting invisible characters.
They spent all their money in this episode.
But
yes,
they did that again in this episode though.
At
one point when
when Jake takes over.
Yeah. Well, right before, when remember there's they go into the temple, Ethan Harrow hits the thing, it opens, and then there's all the avatars, which I was assuming were other gods, by the way, but I'm guessing maybe they were just like,
no, they're other gods. Yeah,
if they were other gods, like they cut away, and when they come back, all of them were dead on the floor, and I was like, that seems like that could have been a really cool moment to see, but you completely just.
Well, if you're saving your scruples for, first of all, I want to just quickly say, they definitely are not trying to play this. This is our Batman character.
Yeah,
they're not doing that, because when homie was just like, "Nah, I'm just gonna fly," and
and
then they just
just lifted up and flew across Egypt.
Forget a moon copter. I got this. So like that's where they spent all their money.
Yeah,
that's why they probably didn't show that measly Avatar God fight hero, because they're just like, no. We're gonna show giants fighting.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the back and forth switchity dippity with the clever.
It felt a little bit Power Rangers though.
Fuck yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
But I'm down.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, Dave, you're saying that like it's a bad thing. Skinny's
have you seen the movie? Okay, Dave,
I'm not against it. I'm not against it, but I'm just saying, aren't we agreeing that there's a bit of stealing of a concept here?
Like, not stealing of a concept. Sentai's been around forever.
Yeah, I was
going that concept. Secondly, have you seen the movie Guyver or heard of it?
Well, hold on. Wait.
Yeah, I know exactly what Guyver is.
Hold on. One second.
Are you going to talk about Spider-Man? The original.
Exactly.
Yes. Go ahead.
So it's not really stealing if Spider-Man jumped into a giant ass robot first and he's part of the Marvel universe.
Yes, it's true.
So they're just doing their own thing that they've been doing.
Yeah, Spidey did it.
Spidey didn't do it.
Been doing it.
No, Spidey damn near inspired it. Spidey.
Yeah. But I'm saying,
I hear you.
They're not stealing nothing.
No, they're not stealing nothing.
We started this Sentai.
But making me want to watch Guyver now.
Well, yeah, this is just a lighter Guyver. If you're saying it's more Power Rangers, it's more Guyver, and it's just very lighthearted. The lighthearted is Steven jumping into the suit, being actually able to control his shit and fight, and then when he jumps back, you get the more superhero. I can fly because I've been in this for a couple years. I know what I'm doing. Suit, bong. What Jake's suit's gonna look like?
So,
I have questions about that.
Okay, I will say, but I still want to touch on. Oh, the black one, yeah.
I hope it's this one. That's all
for those of you who are listening to this, Skinny just showed us the all like black base with the white cape and the white chest plate.
It's Moon Knight action figure. The armored look, I believe.
Armored. Okay, that's what also, Secret Avengers type armor, because I think he has that one, if I'm not mistaken, in that team. One of the things that I will super quick though, I also did feel like they were cheating when they did the whole Jake kicked everyone's ass and cut away, because that was another one of those fights where, as much as they did it the first time in the first episode because it was Mark and Steven, now that we've met Mark and Steven, they cut back to this version where Mark and Steven are working in unison, which was very heartwarming when they rejoined and their little heart got hit by the light of Osiris, and it was kind of cute to see that connection. The only person that you can love is yourself, it would seem. In his
You selfish prick.
Self-love is best love.
Comes back to Layla. It's just like, Layla, I'm so happy, baby. It's just like, yeah, you gave up paradise to save your other personality. Anyways, but all that to say, that moment where they both didn't understand what happened and they're like, what was that? First of all, Layla, what do you mean, what was that? You saw him do it. You were stuck to the car. You saw. Why don't you just tell him what you saw? Did he change into a different suit? Did he, like, you saw? It's not like you were blind. What happened? And that's the part that bothers me, because we had the whole season, we never saw Jake do anything, and I was kind of hoping we'd see Jake in the end, and I thought we would see Jake do something, and that moment felt like they stole it from me because I was a little annoyed.
Nah, that's your version. That's your season 2.
But did you?
I
know.
But
you saw the ending, though, right?
Yes.
But I want to see.
Credits. Yeah, that doesn't count to me. I want to see Jake kick everyone's ass, not Jake show up in a limo and be
no. But you see, that's not kicking everyone's ass. That's not kicking everyone's ass. What he did. That is exactly what Guyver would do to humans. Is what he did, which is literally mutilating people, and then being like, all right. Like, Harold's axe part of his cane was in the man's forehead.
Yeah. But that's it. I wanted to see the actual, because when Moon Knight lands on the pyramid the first time and him and Harold kind of jump fight, classic superhero, villain, high ground, knee kick, all that shit, Yeah.
But the knee in the face, that was great.
Yeah, it was great. And then the rest of the fight, pretty good. Him and Layla doing the double team, kind of like Cap and Winter Soldier with Iron Man, kind of like the double team, you grab this, I do this. But then to get it, for Layla's arm to get pinned, for Mark to be on the ground almost dead, and then to just cut to, like you said, the axe part of his cane in his own forehead, Harrow on the ground. I was like, guys, show me some of the fight.
I like it because it leaves.
I like violence. Okay, I said it at the beginning.
I like it because it leaves it up to your imagination, and for people who really weren't paying attention to their whole
imagination,
to get that last and to get that last, like, oh shit, that was cool. The way it ended, I was very like, oh, y'all not gonna end it like that. But then that cut scene at the end saved that ass.
But
because they ended very abruptly. Like the episode just cuts, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're like, no. But then they do that. I'm almost like, oh, okay, it's about to be okay.
I knew they were gonna add, because there's the episode is 42 minutes long, and that the episode stops the first time at 37 minutes, and I was like, you don't need 5 minutes to run credits. Fuck off. Like, I got so mad. I was like, screw you. I'm not doing this shit this time.
You spoiled it. You spoiled it.
Damn
you should have sat there and stewed. Like,
can you imagine back in the day we had to? Yo, I'm so happy we don't have to do that.
What are you gonna do? Fast forward?
You know, as a rewrite thing, I think that what they're gonna do is actually make Jake Lockley like probably, you know, the guy the actor who sadly passed away, who was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, he was supposed to be like
a bigger part, right?
Another character that in comics, he was actually like a darker version of Moon Knight. He was his arch nemesis, and more or less he used to be Khonshu's avatar before him. What I feel like they're going to do is that they're just going to take all the psycho violence of that would-be character and just pop it into Jake Lockley and be like, hey, now you got to battle yourself.
But my question is this, though. In the comic books, so 2 questions. One, is Jake Lockley actually like that violent character or anything like that?
None of these guys are actually who they are.
Yeah.
They flipped the switch on that. So they literally like, okay, so we're going to use the names and boop.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I always thought of Mark as the most violent persona.
Mark's nuts. Mark
he was violent. He was violent in comparison to Steven in this one, but you didn't realize what was going on with Jake until the end, right? So,
but that's what I'm saying. Like in the comic, Mark is a former mercenary who has like, and I've said it before on this podcast. I showed it to my partner the other day because someone else posted it. It is one of my favorite quotes about Moon Knight. Taskmaster has said he refuses to mimic Moon Knight's style because Moon Knight would rather take a punch to gain advantage in a fight. And he doesn't understand the logic in that. And that is something that Mark does as Moon Knight. Mark will full on take a punch if he can figure out how it gives him advantage in the fight. Like your body weight and the exertion you put in this punch can give me leverage even if I accept the punch.
That I remember in a manga I was reading about like MMA or what have you, or like before like MMA became what MMA is now. So it's like in the 90s, a guy literally takes a punch, but kind of cheats his face a little bit, and then jumps up to get into an armbar on the guy. And the guy's like, ah, crap.
Right. So it's stuff like that that I'm like, Mark is the type of character to do stuff like that. And in the comic book, if I'm not mistaken, he's the one that is more inclined to be that violent. Whereas Steven never seemed that violent to me. Steven very much seemed like, I don't even think Steven really realized what was going on. Steven always kind of felt like this guy who just thought, oh, I'm just a movie producer.
Rich. Yeah.
Like I'm just rich and I make movies. And that's what this Steven Grant is, this guy. And then Jake was the cabbie. I kind of always thought of Jake as just a guy who was the underworld connect to, you know, he might do some questionable things, but I don't remember him in the comic book being as based on what the show is trying to show.
And he just had those three, right? He just had the movie star, the cab driver, and the mercenary.
Yeah. Okay. Those are the only three that I know of.
All I'm saying is the face is getting cut off in season 2. If they do Bushman, Jake is cutting that face off. And that's good. Yeah, oh god, but that might be the part you guys where you finally get to see it and you're gonna regret that shit.
That is wild.
I hope not. Well, I mean, if anything, if they were to do that, this just means that Marvel would be giving the green light to at least having PG-13 and potentially rated R stuff on their part of the show, but I don't know.
All they gotta do is shift it to stars. Have you seen anyway, just shift it to stars and it could be like, yeah.
But not even that. They don't even have to. There's parental guidance on Disney now. They don't they're not
Disney Plus's new movies, what? Pam and Tommy?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but that's still on Stars. But True. I know, like
when I see ads for it on YouTube, it's like Disney.
Yeah.
And it's like
because that I know, and I'm always trying to explain to Americans because I'm part of a Disney Plus group on Facebook where a lot of people post about the like new stuff coming out, and a lot like you get insight of like what shows, when things are going to premiere, and actors and what series they're going to be making, stuff like that. So it's one of the reasons I like following that group. And in that group, I'm always trying to explain to people that the version of Disney Plus you have in the States is not the version internationally. Like we have Disney Plus with Hulu, essentially, in everywhere else. Because Pam and Tom is a Disney Plus series. And I once screen capped it and sent people Pam and Tom on Disney Plus. And they're like, what the hell? And I keep trying to explain to them, like, yeah. That whole branding thing, and we've said this on the podcast in the past too, that was just them branding at the beginning to kind of rank up real quickly with subscriptions because they knew that a lot of people were looking for family-friendly stuff, especially during the pandemic. You got kids, you're going to want to be like, hey, hun, sit down and watch all these movies that I watch as a kid. Let's watch Lion King 17 times because mommy's sad and she wants to watch it too, so she doesn't feel as bad.
Mommy's sad.
I mean, parents are sad. It's not just mommy. Apologize to the ladies out there. Don't worry. Daddies were sad too. We were just probably watching old wrestling matches because that's our way of working through the pain.
Yep.
Hey man,
you go Hulk. You go.
Everyone cried during Mufasa dying.
Facts.
Everyone did.
Facts.
Everyone did.
Facts.
So, yeah, man. So Moon Knight in the end. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know.
That one time when it looked like Hulk was really about to get his ass kicked, and he's on his knees, his arm being twisted backwards. Oh fuck, man! I'm trying to remember who he's fighting in that match.
Don't
How old is that match?
Super old. Who was he fighting? No, he was with Mr. T.
No, I'm thinking of a WrestleMania match. Maybe it's the Andre match.
Could be.
The Andre match is the one where they were kind of trying to pass the baton, right?
They were passing the baton, and he was the only person to suplex Andre.
Right.
Well, live
live
on WWE. I think Kamala did it already.
Something like that.
Yeah, he did, but it was like another promotion. So
you just body slammed him, right? You just like.
I mean, there's not much you could do. Like, I mean.
No, you weren't doing much.
And I think Andre was pretty sick at that point. Like he wasn't super full well and all that stuff. That's why he came out on the crane kind of thing.
Yeah.
He didn't even walk to the ring.
So I ain't trying to walk.
I mean, that was also a really fucking far walk.
True. It's like, nigga,
Back in the day. No, see, serious. You lose a lot of stamina just going to the ring.
Oh wait, Andre, you're gonna march down to the ring. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah, no,
No, but this was like before you'd be able to do it, but this is like
Oh no,
like,
we know. We're just saying
well,
at that level.
yeah,
I'm
he's not
Andre.
he's
I'm-
no
I'm
he's
not.
no ultimate warrior, just full on sprint.
You
Like,
mean
I'm
he's no
gassed by the
cocaine
time I
addict
get
or
it. Yeah, true.
speed or whatever the man was on? Because you can't tell me that man, like, either he is the best wrestling actor ever and he was able to sustain that level of fake energy the entire time, or he was having a little bump before the matches.
Well,
He's
dude,
super
like,
drugged out. You're
yeah.
not running down the ring.
Do you ever hear
and
his
doing that
promos?
twice. Yeah, and it makes
sense.
Re-listen to his promos. Like, don't get me wrong, I
Great.
love the promos. They're
Great.
amazing. But if you
Great
actually think,
stuff.
if you listen to them, you're like, this guy, like, all due respect, because you know he's passed away and whatnot. But all due respect,
Yeah.
you had to be high on something. I don't understand.
Wait, so real quick, would you recommend Moon Knight? Just because I want to take the spoiler off so that people can know if
Yes.
they're muted.
I would.
Okay.
I still think it was worth.
And the last episode, I didn't love it, but I do think it was still a solid season overall. Had some weak points, but an overall story. And I'm pretty sure, I think we're all on the same page. They are working towards a second season.
Yeah,
So that's a lot of fun.
I love the hippo. Hippo is great.
yeah.
And,
The hippo CGI is so good. Alligator not
Yes.
so much.
True. It was very
But
good.
also, Isaac's acting is pretty
Oh my
pretty
God.
amazing.
Fantastic.
Like, let's be honest, him switching on and off, especially when he wasn't like two of himself, when he was just
Yeah.
like in one body, was
Held
like,
it
wow.
down, yeah.
You know, it'd be funny if his last personality turns out to be the guy from Ex Machina.
The robot nerd who's like,
Yeah, just
That was
him.
that guy.
"Ooh, hey man.
So if you guys are listening to the podcast, that is the end of our Moon Knight spoiler conversation. So we're going to be continuing on to other shows. Jaws, I feel like we have to ask you this one here. Trap Lord Ross, the embarrassing collapse of Kim and Kanye's marriage review.
So Trap Lord Ross is a YouTuber from the UK, self-proclaimed culture vulture because he's a white dude from the UK, and he talks about
Oh boy.
beefs.
Wait, does he legit
gangs.
call himself a culture vulture?
He knows his audience, and it's more of like of a joking thing.
That's
But
so
like
funny.
he knows that he's a white guy in the UK talking about hip hop culture and like maybe the big beefs that happen and stuff like that. So like he'll drop that in here and there. And he's usually very funny and he's very entertaining to watch and stuff like that. This normally his episodes are like 20 to 30 minutes long. This was a whopping 3 hours and almost 30 minutes.
When you told us that it was a 3-hour, when you sent us a link and you're like, my partner and I watched the first half last night, and we're like, first half? And you're like, it's 3 hours long. I was like, yo, I was tempted to watch it before you said that.
It's good though. It's almost like documentary level because dude, he goes from when they first, not even when they first meet, a little bit before, both of their relationships, a little bit before, and then muddiness, and then it just keeps going, and he could have gone 4 hours because like stuff is still going, but he kind of just caps it at a certain point, and he just wants to kind of keep it at least somewhat positive because it's still kind of messed and everything.
And he got to the point with Pete.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all the way from when Kanye still had his first girlfriend, Alexis something, and
The one that he knew from Chicago.
Yeah, the one he knew from Chicago.
Yeah,
and his mom was still alive.
Okay.
And then Kim, when she was still known as like,
Paris Hilton's friend.
No, he starts with Kanye working on a song with Brandy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because Kim Kardashian was Brandy's
closet
stylist.
organizer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or stylist or what have you.
Yeah. Sorry.
And so in that music video, Kanye's in it, and so is Ray J in it.
Yeah.
And he starts from there. He's like, this is where they probably first met.
Oh,
And then he just continues on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
I hate that I'm interested in this, but
It's really good. But you know, you don't have
like,
to,
I'm mad. Like, I'm mad that you're talking about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, when this and I closet organ. Like the fact that I know these things, I'm mad at myself for knowing this much of her history. but
Mhm.
also I'm listening. I'm listening.
He's really good at like, okay, I found this. Here's the receipts. Here's this. Here's that. And he's just going through it, going through it, and it's just drama after drama after drama, and then you're like, okay, cool, it's going good. More drama and more drama. And you're like, come on, just get it. More drama. Just a recap, and it's just 3 hours and
3
almost
hours.
30 minutes. So you could, break it up. Just
Does he have chapters in it at least?
Does he have chapters?
Yeah, there's segments. There's segments. And
okay, good. Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
So I don't know if you're watching on a specific app where you can just jump
because I just want to know that, like, if I watch it and I lose my spot, can I just jump back to?
Yeah. There's chapters, so you'll have like a little section that like he'll have the intro, like, and say like, this part this year, and then this part this year.
You know what though? No, I'm gonna work my darndest not to watch this. Because you're describing it and I want to watch it, and again, it is making me mad that I want to watch this. I don't like that I want to know the story behind.
It's really good.
God damn.
And he has some poignant points to it where he's just like, so you don't want, you don't want Kim to put your daughter on TikTok and shill for this and that and et cetera, et cetera. But when you two were together, you did that Vogue video where all your kids are on the bed with you. And you're talking about like, I understand, but
Vogue paid me a lot of money. No,
that's the thing. It's probably from Kanye's perspective. Like, listen, Vogue
gave me that million,
and a really good point he makes is like, when Kanye goes and see Trump and everything like that, and people are like, boo. But then Kim goes and see Trump, and everyone's like, oh, yes. Yes. And he's like, that's really
okay. I mean, okay, that one I will defend a little bit, because not that I care that Kim went to see, I think it's messed up she did too, but Kim went because she was trying to get people pardoned.
Yeah, and she did.
Kanye went, and it kind of just looked like a photo op. Like this this man just went there wearing a MAGA cap, being like, hey, what's up, everybody? I support this dude.
And what's also interesting is that he doesn't just fully bash Kanye. He's like he talks about the second time him and Trump met, and he's like, Kanye does have some actual points, but the bad part is that it's just not cohesive. It's more rambling, and it's like there's actual parts in there that are legit. But
Toby has said that like, if you listen to what Kanye is saying, some of the things he's saying makes sense, but he's saying it in the guise of potentially manic episodes.
Yeah.
So it's hard for us to be like, yeah, this stuff makes sense, when it's like, yes, you're right about a slave mentality, and yes, you're right about this, but then you're also saying things like MAGA, and like you and Candace Owens are like having some weird kind of kumbaya moment, and it's like, but she's crazy. Like, so
but she's crazy.
But you start to get these moments of like, I understand, like I don't think it makes sense to say all black people should be Democrats, and none of them should be Republicans. I think your two-party system itself is the problem. That's more a commentary. And I think that's one of the things that I feel Kanye, when he ran for president, was saying like, I'm not with them. I'm not with the other side. You could vote for me. I'm giving you another option. But it's hard to vote for someone who is constantly having manic episodes and names their album. I hate my, what was the name of the album? I hate myself, and I'm bipolar.
And it's awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm bipolar and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, which one? The Ye album?
One of the albums, like the line on the cover is like, I'm bipolar and it's awesome. And it's just like, I don't know if I want to vote for that person, because I don't know if they're aware enough to run the country. You don't even run the label you're on. You put Pusha in charge of it. Oh, that's not an insult. That's not an insult.
That isn't. Anybody would have done that.
It's not an insult.
Anybody would have done that.
I'm not insulting.
But that line to say that is like,
I don't know.
I'm just saying, if you didn't feel you had the time to run the label because you had other things going on, why would you have the time to run the country? That's what I'm saying.
And then other people on your label are constantly complaining, I want to put out my album. I can't get the clearance. Kanye's not here to give me the clearance to put out the album.
That's
was
what I
like
was
a
saying.
consistent thing that had
Yes.
that was going on. I remember that.
So that, you know, I'm not saying the man
Because he may
is,
not be mentally focused. If he's focused on it, that's what he's gonna put his speed to. You know what I mean? So like when he went for shoes, he did them shoes.
yeah,
When he went for music, he did that music. So he's
Right.
if he's gonna go president, he's probably in his head thinking, "Well, I did them other shits.
Yeah,
I'll do
but
this too."
That
so
I would love if he could actually do it, and you know,
I'm not saying he could. I'm just saying that's probably what he's
yeah. Well, the bad part. Well, I don't want to say everything that's gonna happen, but I mean, there's a lot. It's 3 hours and 30 minutes. But there's a part where they said, you know, the Kardashian family is kind of behind them, and they're putting a lot of money into it. And they're like, hey, we got you all these people that run campaigns and get the vote and this, that, and the other. And he's like, nah, I don't need them. All I need is God, and God's gonna let me win this election because it's by His will, and just that whole over religious thing, and it's just like,
yeah, you do.
I mean,
yeah, you do.
Kanye.
and also the fact that he did not sign up for. He was supposed. All he had to do was sign a thing to say like, I am running, and he was late on that, and he didn't even do it. So when he went to go vote, he wrote his name in. So he wasn't. So he didn't even fill out the paperwork to be on the ballot.
Oh, really? So those 6,000 that 6%.
That was people writing in his name.
Oh, I thought he actually got on the ballot.
No,
he never even got on the ballot.
He didn't get on the ballot because he didn't even file the paperwork to get on the.
Don't give Brian more fuel.
So, no. Hey,
watch the thing.
I'm not making fun of the dude.
Watch it.
I'm not making fun of the dude. I'm just saying,
it is fascinating. And the other videos he's done on Kanye.
The manic side, though, right? Like, or the ADHD. Like, I'm gonna run for president, but I'm gonna forget to submit all the paperwork I need to be on the ballot.
I don't know if he forgot or he just didn't.
He's not the one submitting it himself.
He was because he didn't get a team.
You have a team.
Because
your
God,
team.
No,
he
didn't need a team.
He has a team for everything else.
God's the team. God didn't sign the papers.
You guys didn't watch the Ye documentary. I know that for sure. By the way, y'all.
I didn't watch it yet. I do want to watch it.
See, watch the Ye documentary, Brian. Watch the Ye documentary.
But also, I'll point this out too. Trap Lore Ross also has another video about Kanye talking about when his mom passed away and why she passed away and what happened. And he the heart-wrenching thing of that is listening to the 911 call.
Oh, and I don't want to listen to that.
Hold on.
How did he even get the 911 call? This motherfucker.
People just leaking stuff out, man.
I know.
Yeah, true.
That's
so
nasty.
It's
leak out the 911 call.
It's really, really sad because the 911 person on 911 is telling them to do chest compressions and to asking if this person's breathing, and the person on the phone clearly is not doing that. And so when they let her go from the hospital, she was supposed to have a registered nurse. For some reason, they did not hire a registered nurse. They just let their assistant take care of her. So it was just like.
And when you're saying you're talking about
Kanye's group or whoever. So it's so like this guy has been doing like a lot of like stuff. He's like, okay, why does Kanye and I mean,
Drake when you
have
say that,
a little beef? And
I understand why Kanye doesn't trust teams then. Like,
well, it's
if
his
that
family.
played out that way.
Like there's other stuff with his family too, where it's just like someone got a laptop and then they were trying to extort him for the stuff that was on the laptop. And it's just it's
that's messy. Hey man, don't get me wrong. I've always said Kanye has had a rough ride. I understand that. And Skinny, you're right. I should watch a documentary because I have questions about Kanye.
They touch on the presidency thing. They touch on all of it.
Okay. And they explain why the paperwork wasn't done.
They watch Genius. Watch Genius. That's all I say.
I'm just because I don't. Okay.
Do it.
I'll watch it too.
All I know is God. All I know is if you say I don't need a team, God will. It's God. It's divinely decided. God is not submitting paperwork. Just understand. That's how that works.
It's 3 episodes. That's all.
What'd you hit us with, Skinny? What'd you watch recently?
Trini to the bone.
Atlanta?
Hell yeah. Oh,
context, please.
So I learned that Trini to the bone is a song or a lyric in a song. Wendell, you can clarify this for me. Hit me. Hit me.
So,
Don't make it too loud.
Trini to the Bone is a song. Is it early 2000s? I think.
Really?
And it's a soca song, and it's like a collaboration, and it's basically like a, hey man, welcome to the land of Fet, Trini to the Bone. It's a big like, hey, come, kind of like. I think it was definitely used for promotional, like, come to Trinidad kind of thing.
Awesome.
So it was around that era of like Shadow had a song called Stranger, where he was like, they're talking about Carnival, come down to Carnival. If you're a stranger, this is how you perform in Carnival. This is how you get a flag, you get a rag, just kind of like a instructional video to new people for Carnival, basically. But yeah, Trini to Bone is a very popular song. You throw it on a soca party. Everybody else from the Caribbean gets mad. All the Trinis go, yay!
As we do.
Of course we get mad. Y'all think you're the best island.
Because we are. Anyway.
Arrogant. Is it 15-year-old Antiguan whooped everyone in the track and field. I didn't see the Trini win. Anyways.
This guy's going to bring up track and field. Okay. Anyway, so Atlanta, episode 8, opens with, we see a young man driving down the New York block. Jogging down the New York block, listening to wild trap music, as they do. Which I've noticed, whenever Atlanta decides to have a standalone episode, you will get the FX Presents at the top of the episode and not anywhere beginning after they do their little stick. That's how I know it's usually not a Paperboy/Earn episode. So this one opens like that. I'm like, okay, standalone. Does its thing. My man gets to his apartment and opens with the family wondering where their nanny's at. I think her name was Sylvia, which shout out to my Aunt Sylvia. I actually have an Aunt Sylvia. So that was really, really.
Is she Trini?
Yes. My mom's cousin. Very many dope things in this episode where I would call back to and think of my mom's. Trinis. We're the best.
Too many Trinis celebrating right now.
Exactly. We got a whole episode.
Us. They know we, boy.
They know us.
They know me.
Hey, boy. Hey. So yeah. It opens with their son, Sebastian. He they got him eggs Benedict. He's not trying to eat it. He wants his spice with it. So they put his spice on, mildly spicy as the container says. Father tastes it, and of course it's like death to him. So he almost chokes up and he's almost finished. He gets another call. They're like, where is she? Why isn't Sylvia here? He gets a call. Unfortunately, Sylvia has passed away.
Oh.
And then in the middle of this, they get a knock on the door with a package that's addressed to her, but the father then, returns it because it's not for her, and he sends it back to her address. Anyways, they proceed to go to the funeral. I'm skipping a lot of minor annoying things about his wife Bronwyn and all this stuff because I want to just get to the good. Yeah, her name was Bronwyn. I want to get to the good sugar-coated part of the actual funeral, which they.
Oh Lord, here we go.
So they meet up. They get to the funeral. They wonder if it's the right spot. They meet up with their daughter Khadijah, who starts speaking to their 5-year-old, who's clearly been influenced by his nanny, Sylvia, and he just starts quoting everything in the book. Just imagine your young 5-year-old self, Wendell, fully grown up in Trinidad, and the way you would speak and talk and interact with other Trinidad. But it's a 5-year-old young white boy.
5-year-old white boy.
Yeah.
From the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
Wow.
Named Sebastian. One of the lines was just, it was all around goodness. I just recommend anyone to watch the episode. They get inside the funeral home. So good. They get inside the funeral home and you hear one of the uncles tries to, he introduces himself to the family and then he gets pulled away very, very quickly. He's one of those, as you say, uncles who's too fast. Saying very Trini, so he's very much prying and speaking on their business. Then they turn their heads and they meet another young white male who was also raised by Sylvia, as you see, and it's the mighty Chet Hanks. Very much speaking to his own.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually Chet Hanks.
No.
They get Chet Hanks to speak in the same very well accent that he was ridiculed and made fun of for. Most likely probably speaking to the fact
I gotta say, respect to Gambino and crew to get Chet Hanks to come through and play his role.
And crying his own self.
Respects to Chet for being cool with
on the joke. Yeah. But it also speaks to very much probably how he was raised. If you think about it.
Oh shit.
Right?
Tom Hanks had okay.
This whole episode.
I always thought he was trying to speak with a Jamaican patois, not
he is.
Trini.
He is.
He could. He is. But
Okay.
For the purpose of the episode, I guess they're just
Okay.
playing up that he's just because remember, a lot of these people watching this FX Atlanta show aren't going to know the difference between Trini and Jamaican patois.
Right.
Like we understand, but they're going to watch it and be like, "Oh, this makes sense."
We understand. Russell Peters understands. Tries to
Yeah.
school people. He knows the nuances.
So
All of Brampton is just watching this like, "Hey,
all of Brampton.
shout out to the Brampton fam."
Shout out to Brampton people. Yeah, it was. So Chet Hanks is there, and it's really just kind of it makes you realize that there are a lot of young white and or other race children that are being raised by West Indian Caribbean women. Who are spending most of their time with them, and their influences obviously move on to these children, which is why you may actually come out with a Chet Hanks or so on and so forth.
Interesting commentary.
The other side of that, and this is not original commentary, but I understand it, and I kind of get that.
Yeah,
I've actually had this conversation. I'll explain my point after, but I'll explain. Yeah.
The other side of that, which they show in this funeral, is that while they're out raising and that's their job, they also cannot be at home for their own kids. So while they're at the funeral and they're performing and talking about Sylvia's, she had a colorful life before she even started nannying, whatever, which the family that she worked for weren't even aware of.
Yeah.
And they now finding this out that she led a dance group and she did this, and she had all these like bachelor degrees and decks and all that stuff in school and whatnot. And then they do one of her dance troops decided to do a I want to say memoriam, a dance for her in memoriam to her. They want to kind of do like a kind of like a memorable thing for her. So they decide to dance to Trini to the Bone. However, the older daughter, I think her name was Princess. Her name was probably Princess. Jumps on the stage halfway through the song and just cuts it out to speak on "Mama, you were never there for me."
Oh no!
And then everybody, hey, you need to stop. She was like, no. Where were you where was she when you got jumped? And I had to look for you for like 3 days, and I couldn't find you, and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And it really is so. But then the comedy hits where she starts like, "Mama, I miss you," and then she starts like wailing on the coffin.
Oh no.
Okay, which I don't know if that happens at Trini funerals. I've never been to one.
I've been to one, and I've been to a West Indian funeral and seen that.
Okay,
so it's more. I would say you would hear the wailing, crying more so than that. I haven't seen anyone really just go on a coffin and not.
Oh no,
I don't see people wailing like that.
I full on saw someone at a funeral when they were starting to lower, like physically jump as it was lowering and start wailing on it. So I know some people get into that.
Yeah, so they go ahead and do that, and then it turns into from there. It turns into one man being like, "Oh, I always knew you were crazy," and the man turns to me and like, "Hey, how about you shut up?" And I'm like, and then they run at each other. Boom! Everybody starts rustling. One of the sisters for Sylvia starts running to the coffin, being like, "Take me with you." All sorts of stuff. Like way more funny things are happening. And I'm leaving out, and then finally they show the family are like, "Okay, we need to get out of here. Let's take our son to sleep." And then they finally start like, "Hey, oh yeah, y'all scaring the white people." Ends there. Cuts to them being at home, and the wife is still kind of like upset that they even brought their son to that to that experience, and then the father was like, "No, like we had to bring him to that because we need to experience it." One thing, okay, they did say this after they did scare them. The black people did say, and the Trini said to them, he's like, "It's okay. This is just how we hurt." And I was like, okay, that's dope that they included that. Though a little extreme, it's dope that they included that.
Did they invite them to the hot meal afterwards? After they had the little drama upstairs, and they bring them, to the little.
They mentioned the hot meal. And they mentioned everything that was going to be in the hot meal, including all the food that we love and know. And it was great to hear that because just for that accent,
that's part of it. That's
I felt like I was at home. It was great. The episode, The episode ends with the package that they've tried to return 3 or 4 times. Finally, okay, and it's great because no one really catches this part. But the Trini knock? The Trini knock that's usually like super rapid, like you don't even understand how they're doing that fast with their hand. But literally,
it's not this way. It's not forward. It's back.
Oh, okay, right. Okay. So they do. That makes sense because my mom would wake me up to drive her to work 6 a.m. and I'd be like, she just come to my room. I'm like, well, yo. It's aggravating. It's literally So it's 3 o'clock in the morning and the husband's lying in bed awake because he's thinking about the events of the day, and he gets that knock at his door. So I'm like, oh shoot. And when they
the
landed this
5-year-old?
year, no, it's not the 5-year-old.
Oh.
When they landed this year, everything they do, they're trying to have this creepy vibe to you.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
since that first episode where they talked about we're all, cursed,
Yeah.
you feel like these jump scares or something creepy are going to happen in these standalone episodes, much like this. Anyways, he gets to the door. It's just the same package that he's been trying to return forever. If he looks down the hall, I don't know. I wouldn't be looking down the hall, but he looks down the hall and sees nothing. I'd be inside. He stands there and he's just like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to open this package. Opens the package to see pictures of Sebastian and Sylvia from Family Day, well, Parent-Teacher Family Day, which the parents got ridiculed before earlier in the episode for not being at.
Okay.
It's Sylvia and the son sitting, and legit, they zoom in and they look exactly like each other. Like in terms of looks on the face, it's identical. You can clearly see like the father realizing that he's had almost no influence on his son's upbringing in the past 5 years, and that this woman, his nanny, has been basically the parent.
So wild conversation I had. I used to have a friend that grew up in TMR, and she used to talk about how bad her relationship is with her mom. And she would tell me stories about how her mom got raised by nannies, and then how her grandmother got raised by nannies. And I said to her, and trying not to pry, but just in conversation, I said, do you ever wonder if the disconnect between the like generations is the fact that the mothers or the parents aren't raising the kids? And then that's why it's hard for them to connect with the children. So then they have bad relationships with the kids because the relationship they had with their parent was a bad relationship that's based solely on whatever the cultural norms were. So if you throw it back to when, families were in let's say the South, and it's all about the proper Southern belles, and you have when the debutantes come out and all that stuff, like these relationships that you had where someone else was raising your kid and you're just going by like social standards of interactions, and your daughter is expected to be with a gentleman, and and if your daughter doesn't want to do these things, she's a bad kid. But you also never raised the kid to do it. You had someone else raising the kid. So you were directing someone to teach your kid to do these things. And it's like broken telephone. So if you keep raising kids through broken telephone for generations and generations, you're just going to end up with really bad connections and really bad relationship with your kids. And that episode, it sounds like that's what that ending is. Like that little kid, Sebastian, sitting with Sylvia looks like his parent because Sylvia's the parent. You might be paying her bills, but she's the parent. And you haven't been interacting with this kid. You haven't been making direct decisions. You've been like raising through broken telephone, but everything is filtered through a West Indian woman who is going to say it differently. Like put away your toys is clean up the room. Like, it's not going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I thought was really interesting in what you were saying about the episode and the ending, because it really reminded me of the conversation I had with that friend from TMR. And she didn't even take it badly. She was just like, maybe you're right. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not trying to judge. I hope that's not how it came across. She's like, no, I understand what you're saying, because it is generations of, and then that other thing Skinny said real quick about how when these parents are helping in those households and not raising their own kids, that also causes these kind of weird connections.
I think like the flip side for us in Montreal would probably be Filipinos.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Filipino women.
Yeah. If you take that 124 bus in Montreal from uptown into Westmount, you know the vibes. I've been on that bus.
Yeah.
And you see every stop along the way going towards downtown on the 124. You get on at Plamondon Metro and you go all the way through Westmount. And then if you get off at Victoria by Vendôme, the bus is empty, and every single Filipino, or not even just Filipino, but mostly Filipino has woman, parents, helper, nanny, all of them just got off different spots in Westmount.
Damn.
Yep. Yeah. Telling you, just go one morning. I used to see it all the time, and I was always just like, the first time I saw it, I was just
trying to do that. Okay. Let's do that.
It was interesting the first time. I was just like, this is such a weird vibe to just see it. Like, it's one thing to see it on TV, it's another thing to see it in person happen along your route. But yeah,
because in relation to that episode, I really remember that I think it was Donald Glover's stand-up special Weirdo, where he talks about the Trini nannies and stuff like that. In fact, one of my aunts, shout out, she just had a birthday not too long ago. Is an au pair / nanny kind of thing too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a real thing. Definitely something that really touches a lot of people in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's gonna be weird at the family reunion. Oh, that was she raised she. Yeah, family, don't worry. Come take a plate. You want a drink?
And it's funny because sometimes you see, and especially here in Montreal, there's like a specific park if you grow up in Uptown where on the weekend the Filipino community gathers in that park and does like barbecues and stuff like that. And I've always wondered, like, do any of the kids that they're helping raise ever want to go to it? Because I'm sure they've heard someone talk about, like, they probably mentioned, because I could imagine if I was a kid being raised by somebody and you talk about this wicked ass party you throw almost every weekend in the summer, I'd want to go to that party.
Yeah,
so
straight up,
it's stuff like that it just makes me wonder what their relationships are like. And that whole Chet Hanks part was funny because it makes me wonder, like, what is it like when these kids turn into adults and they have these attitudes and these relationships with the au pairs and nannies, and you're just like, how do you even react and interact, and do you ever want to find out more about this person that helped raise you? Because the people that, quote unquote, raised you didn't actually do it,
Yeah.
Fun times. Folks, raise your kids.
Message.
yeah, seriously.
I actually saw a video on YouTube where this guy that like speaks really good Mandarin, he lives in New York. He's really good at learning dialects and different languages really quickly. So he did one for Jamaican patois and went to Jamaica Avenue / what is it, Bob Marley Avenue, I think it's called now. And so he's talking with the Jamaicans, and the Jamaicans are like, "Oh, what part are you guys?" Like, "Oh, no, I'm from Yard. I'm from Yard." And this and like they're hooking him up, and then he was asking somebody, "Oh, where can I get some Jamaican food around here?" And they're like, you follow me, and they're just walking with this woman to this spot.
So funny. Yo, man, but that's something when I was in school in comms, we talked about that those signals where like someone who speaks in the same dialect as you, that comfort.
Yeah.
Like that. It's one of the reasons all these kids from France come to Quebec.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, someone speaks the same language as me. I feel more comfortable already just because you're speaking the same language. Even if you're speaking a different version of the language, you're speaking something closer than anywhere else.
And they still start.
Yeah.
They still start like
all the time. But yeah, no, that's cool, man. I would love to see documentaries about stuff like that. Just like that guy who does dialects, just mimicking dialects all over the world and see how quick.
He does.
Okay.
He does one. I'll send you the link.
You know what's wild? Imagine him doing Amazing Race.
Oh.
Just like burning through Amazing Race, because everywhere he gets, people are just comfortable with him. Like, yeah, man, come. I'll show you how to get to the airport. You want to ride?
He's like, no, you're cheating, sir. Go home.
Brian, do we have 2 minutes to tear into a certain company that I feel like has been failing?
You know what? I did promise you time, folks. We're going to take a moment out of our time to talk about the stupidness. Put a little extra stupidness of certain companies. Skinny, by all means, hit us.
Well, to be very, very quick, my first Amazon package was stolen from my the front entrance of my building. It was a 50 pack, a big pack of wet wipes that anyone would use, and I currently use to wipe, wet spots and so on. And let's just say Amazon did not. First of all, your drivers, ever since Amazon, the thing we're going through a little revolution here, ever since Amazon started getting their own trucks and putting their own drivers in these trucks since the pandemic.
Because I'm noticing that a lot more.
Yeah, it's been happening a lot more. It used to be Intelcom, it used to be Pure Later, it used to be, just mail people who've been delivering packages.
Yeah.
So they know how to act.
Yeah.
These ragamuffin ass people that they seem to be getting to be delivering these packages on some high school dropout type shit don't really know how to, I don't know, read or follow instructions. And I'm not really dissing you, but I'm dissing you because this is like the 8th time that it's specified in my account to say leave the package at the blood clot door. My door. Well, I'm not gonna say my apartment number, but my door.
Yeah.
You know, we don't hey, don't dox myself. We have a sign on a mailbox downstairs that says, hey, leave all packages upstairs. Okay. Amazon tells me on the phone today, well, it seems like you got a picture saying that it was delivered. I'm just like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I hate that shit.
I didn't get a notification though when you delivered it, and I can't go back to the tracking for some reason and see what time exactly it was delivered. All I see is this big stupid picture of this package that once was into my front entrance and not at my front door. So when I'm like this morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning to be, so make sure I get somebody that's fresh and they kind of like they're not having a bad day, so they're just trying to give me all the free shit. My man Ahmed tells me that there's nothing that he can do until tomorrow for 48 hours for reasons I don't understand.
Yeah.
And he also almost like, well, if it says it was delivered, then why can't you just refund me now or order it now? He's like, oh, well, no, because there's a 48-hour window.
Right. So for those of you who don't know, this is something I feel like people should know. Amazon has a policy that if you get a package, if you have a package on its way and it says delivered, even if you don't have the package and it says delivered, they have this weird thing where it's like, oh, we have 48 hours between when it's entered as delivered and when you can actually receive it.
Because people actually find their package later sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, and I remember, and I was telling Skinny about how it happened to me at work one day where I got the notification that it was delivered. I spoke to the dude in the mailroom. The dude in the mailroom's like, no, man, nothing came through. I called back. They're just like, okay, well, we're sorry. You have to wait the 48 hours. So I called back exactly 2 days and I'm like, I didn't get the package. It's not here. No one signed for it. You have no proof of anyone signing for it. And there's a receiver here at my office who would have received it. So something doesn't make sense. So they send me another one. Guess what happened to the first one? What? Showed up the next day after the second one arrived. It showed up after the second one arrived.
Damn.
So I ended up with 2 copies and ended up giving one to somebody.
See, that's a good thing. At least I know that there was a package and a picture.
Yeah, but there's a picture for yours. So yeah.
They didn't ring the doorbell. They didn't buzz nothing. So somebody definitely saw them bring it in. And it's these wet wipes, it's a heavy package. So they thought, oh, I got me some electronics, idiot. Turn around, you have like a lifetime supply of wet wipes. Unless you have a small child, which that'll last you like a month.
Yeah.
But, and I'm so mad about the re-up. It's like the principle of the thing. Someone's just like, well, just go buy a pack real quick. I'm like, no. I already dropped the allocated wet wipe money. And I'm waiting to get that. So like I ain't moving.
Wet wipe money.
I'm not moving till I get that back. Like, come on.
Allocated wet wipe money.
So obviously I'm gonna buy more, but it's just like
a friend of mine, I think she bought a Vitamix blender off of Amazon, and the people just left it at the front and obviously got swiped.
Yeah.
So what she did was obviously complain, got her money back, ordered a second one, made sure she was home this time. Package came, she got it right away, because nowadays they don't put that stuff in a box. They just Vitamix box, slap the stickers on it. You can obviously see what it is.
Yeah.
So she made sure she was home. She got the box, emptied out the box, put in about a pound of used cat litter, sealed up the box, put it right back on her doorstep, swiped. And she's like, oh, good. Justice served.
No, that's like the Mark Roper videos where he does every year for Christmas, where he put the glitter bombs with the stink and the GPS so that he can find it, films the people, shows their location, it sprays them with stink bomb, like chemical compound that he made, and it sprays an adhesive glitter, like super fine glitter, into their house once they lift the cover off the box. And the later versions of the glitter bomb that he made have latches that pop into place, so when you pull it up, you can't cover it back. Because what some people were doing was pulling it up, and as soon as it started releasing gas, cover back. So he fixed that, so you couldn't do that anymore. So now, as soon as you lift it, you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
And On top of that, it's continuously sprays like on a cycle. So it'll stop and you'll be like, oh, it's done. And then it'll start back
Yeah,
again.
and it like
it's
spins.
wonderful.
And yeah, it's kind of.
If you guys haven't watched those videos, those are some of my favorites. We actually have to sign off real quick. So we will do the geek news super fast today.
Yeah.
We're just going to run through the headlines essentially.
Went over.
Geek news and rumors. Headlines, folks. Justin Lin Fast X exit puts the Universal in a tricky and costly race to replace him. Funny enough, they did with Louis Leterrier, a French director who will be taking over for Fast X. So within a week,
he did the Transporter, if I remember right.
Yes, the first
1 and 2.
Yeah. Christopher Miller clarifies the 240 characters quote was misleading. A lot of those characters in the new Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse and beyond the Spider-Verse will appear as background characters. They will not be focal points. There's going to be a specific group of 6 to 8 characters, I think is what he said, that were going to be the focus, and all the others would just be background characters that you see as they're traveling across the multiverse.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. John Watts is stepping away from F4, Fantastic Four franchise. He was supposed to be taking over. I know we had mentioned that he had done the 3 Spider-Man movies. He's been directing Spider-Man films for a decade. I can't even believe it's been 10 years already.
And he's tired.
Yeah, so I understood that the dude's tired. I do, however, understand some people being like, you know, snort a line and get back to work.
Suck it up, buddy.
Like you're talking about
You're making magic. Get back to work.
Right? Like the other side of it is, and let's be honest, you're going from Sony affiliated because the MCU Sony deal was with Spider-Man. You're now going to be full MCU. You are going to be part of the Disney family.
You're on your own.
Yeah, so you would have been able to do a bit more with Feige and no Pascal or anyone else over at Sony whispering in the back, like, include this character because we want to start a whole other franchise over here.
Honestly, maybe it wasn't even him, and maybe it was like, they have like the secondary directors, and if the guy's like a dick, they end up usually doing most of the work.
Oh yeah.
Like maybe John Watts isn't that guy, and he would lose his team. He's like, oh shit, I can't lose the Sony team. They cover my ass. Damn.
Oh shit.
I'm just an indie dude.
I didn't think about that. That's wild. No, but you're not wrong. You hear stories about that sometimes. Cancellations. On the last episode, I said before May 27th, Netflix will cancel minimum 2 projects that you care about. You are you out there. And I said that within a couple days, 2 projects that I cared about got canceled. Raising Dion and Space Force both got canceled within a couple days of that episode that we did. So the you in that situation was myself, and I done messed up.
It'd be funny if Thanos did that snap and he disappears along with half the people.
Yeah. That's how it felt. It really is.
I made it random.
I'm telling you guys, two projects that you care about are gonna get canceled, and 2 that I cared about got canceled immediately.
It's like rolling a dice.
Yep, it really was. Batwoman and Legends of Tomorrow both canceled at the CW. Greg Berlanti is slowly losing power. Sorry, I know I shouldn't be that happy about it, but I've been saying for a long time that I don't like how much power this one person has. And I feel like the people at Warner Brothers Discovery, are also realizing, why do we have this much money invested in this Berlanti dude? And then Captain Marvel 2 and Ant-Man 3 have swapped dates.
Don't know if that's so smart. Just saying.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
It seems a little bit weird to me, especially because Ms. Marvel is supposed to be coming out in November, right?
No, June.
June?
Yeah.
Oh, Ms. Marvel is coming out that soon?
Yeah, man.
What was I thinking of?
I don't know.
Oh, wait.
Thor?
Yes. No, Thor's July. Oh, Black Panther is coming out.
Black Panther. Oh, yeah, Black Panther.
Black Panther. That's what I was thinking of. With colored people. That's the movies that they're giving us.
Right.
I hope it's doing all right.
The Marvels. Say what?
I hope Black Panther 2 is doing all right. Even though one of the stars kind of.
Yeah, it'll be fine, I think.
Yeah. The Marvels pushes released to September 2023 as Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania moves up. So that's what's happening. They're swapping those dates. And that's about. Oh no! Last piece of news: Viola Davis in talks to star in Peacemaker spinoff. I think that we would consider that. Wouldn't we consider it the Suicide Squad spinoff as opposed
No,
to saying
that brand's dead. Move on. Peacemaker was the only thing that was salvageable out of that. Move on.
Damn. Okay. But that's all the news, folks. That's the whole show.
We're not talking about the rest in peace.
Oh, sorry, that's true. I did say we are going to move that to the end. Yeah, I guess unfortunately we end on a sad note, but rest in peace to Neil Adams, the comic book writer creator. He co-created. Did he co-create him or did he create him for Jon Stewart? Full on created? I don't remember, but I know he was involved in the creation of Jon Stewart. I know a lot of people were really excited, when he created that character. And funny enough, that we just got a trailer today for Green Lantern: Beware My Power, which is a new animated DC film that stars and focuses on Jon Stewart as a character. It's in a universe where unfortunately Hal Jordan has passed away. So it's a little bittersweet to talk about Neil Adams, but it's also his legacy continues on in characters like Jon Stewart and all the things that he's done in comics. So we bid him a goodbye, and his family, we send our condolences. And to all the nerds out there, it's always hard when we lose someone. And unfortunately, as we get older, we start to notice a lot more of the people that help create the stories that we love are passing away. But don't lose hope. There's a young generation coming along, and they're going to be creating some cool stuff too. So if anything, remember to support them and support local and indie stuff. Support local and indie stuff more often. We need you guys to do it because a lot of the local and indie stuff faces a lot of hardships along the way, and it's not fair to them. And if we can support them, they can grow and get the opportunity to do bigger things.
Exactly.
So, with that said, that's the end of the show, guys. We always love doing the show with you. We appreciate all of you tuning in, and we'll be back next week to continue. Jaws, anything you want to tell the people?
Take care, everyone. Peace out. Check out Transformer Slag on YouTube. Check out my boy Proto Man, and have a good day. Have a good week.
We out, y'all. Peace.